Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Table Talk. I'm your host, Jake Combs, and tonight we're going to be doing the first of two smaller episodes than we usually do. That way we can divide things up between the different genres, I guess. So first we're going to be doing the Bastian Carthalos unboxing, and then we'll do a second video which will be involving some 40k items. So this item is currently up for pre-order. It will be available this coming Saturday for purchase. Now, this was sent to us by Games Workshop for the purpose of this video, but as always, anything that they send us, it guarantees that we will talk about it, but we will not have a specific opinion. Any thoughts are my own. Now, one thing I really do like about this model, just from what I've seen already, is, just the pose of the model itself. It's a very intimidating Stormcast model. Now, I've heard a little bit of his background, listening to some of the videos from Games Workshop, and basically he is the Lord Commander. Apparently he mostly spends most of his time directing their forces from I believe Azure is the realm, if I remember correctly, and now this is the first time that we actually get a model of him to take into battle. I would doubt that he was a character that you could use in the previous battle tomes, but it is definitely possible that he was in them. This edition is the only battle tome for Stormcast Eternals I've ever owned, so I have no idea if he's new with this edition or if he was in there before, but either was just in the lore or not, or just didn't have a model. All right, so opening it up, we do have two of the smaller sprues. Now, we do have a really cool looking decorative base, and all these pieces come together to fill it out. And just for that base alone, with all of that detail and rubble and stuff, obviously a lot of that can be recreated by hand, but it would be worth having multiple of this model just to have extras of these bases, so that way you can actually do the full customization and have matching bases for all the models that are on this size base. But just a ton of detail on there. Looks like either like a bunch of pebbles are kind of tossed on top of these tiles, or could be small gold coins, but I definitely don't think that's the case, because typically, like, if you see something like coins, they're usually a little bit bigger. So I'm guessing that these are all supposed to be pebbles of some sort, and then just kind of on top of tiles, and then like this piece right here has some runes in it. So just for the base alone, there's a ton of detail. And then looking at the hammer, it looks like we actually get two different poses for him. Either one with him holding the hammer one-handed, and it looks like his fist down by his side, or holding it two-handed. Now, looking at the back of the box, we do see right here with him doing it one-handed, and then both here using two. And we can also see that there are two different heads, one wearing his Stormcast helmet, and then one without the helmet. Personally, I think that he definitely looks best without the helmet. A lot of the Stormcast helmets, I don't really like the general look of them, but it also is impractical to go into war without something to protect your head. So, at the same time, I like the look of the model better without, but realistically, I definitely would see him going into battle wearing his helmet. But I know when it comes to actually build him, we're definitely going to go without the helmet for it. But also looking at the hammer, there's a ton of detail on the hammer. Just like kind of the braiding going up the handle, and then the runes on the actual hammerhead itself. And then we have our second sprue. This is the bulk of the body and the cape. So he kind of has like a minor cape, or that kind of goes around his waist, and then the bigger cape that goes from his shoulders. And in the pictures, it kind of shows them doing like a two-tone thing with like a white cape on the inside and a dark blue cape on the outside. But looking at it, I honestly do not know what color I would end up doing. Most of my Stormcasts are currently planned to be doing blacks and grays. But with somebody like him, I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to do his to make him really stand out. Now, obviously, one of the tones is going to be, either that black or gray, but don't know exactly what else I have in mind for him yet. Now, one thing I've also noticed about the helmet, at least his, compared to other Stormcasts, is that his looks more like a dwarf helmet than most of the Stormcast Eternal helmets do. And I suspect that that's probably because, with Sigmar working closely with the dwarves to make better versions of their armor, it would make sense that his helmet is going to be very dwarf-like in design, and so that's probably why we have that similar looking aesthetic. But overall, it is a great looking model. Definitely looking forward to getting him built and painted. Now, one thing that surprises me is with most model kits these days, our assembly book is really only like 2 to 3 pages in most cases. This one, we're looking at 6 pages total. And it does break it down pretty well as far as like with the assembly, and then showing you the different variations that you can do for his pose. The two-handed on the hammer definitely looks much more imposing. And then let's see. Okay, so surprisingly, it doesn't actually show us like a suggestion of where to kind of stop building, so you can do some pre-painting, so that way you can get the harder to reach spots, which I would imagine the inner cape is definitely going to be much more difficult. So I'm definitely surprised not to see that there. But I suspect that the reason why is because the second cape flows so much further outward that as long as you don't put them on the base, you're still going to be able to get those hard to reach areas decently easy, I suspect. Obviously once we get it built and start getting ready to paint it, then we're definitely going to see whether or not I'm right. But so that's it as far as Bastian Carthalos is concerned. Like I said, I'm definitely looking forward to getting him built and painted. It's a great looking model. Thank you again to Games Workshop for sharing that with us. And as far as that video goes, that is it for now. Thank you as always for watching, and we'll be back again shortly with our next video. So stay tuned.